Pakistan and Afghanistan, they have agreed to a temporary 48-hour ceasefire after airstrikes and deadly border clashes left dozens dead and injured on both sides of the border.
Well, Pakistan carried out an airstrike on the Afghan border province of Kandahar and hit the town of Spin Boldak. While Pakistani security officials claimed they targeted a Taliban brigade, Afghanistan's defense ministry spokesperson claimed that residential areas were hit.
Following the fresh skirmishes in Afghanistan's Spin Boldak, injured civilians were receiving treatment at a local hospital. Recounting the horrors of the clashes, they narrated how Pakistan shelled their homes, killing civilians.
The Pakistani mortars crossed over from their side of the border. We were close to the border when the mortars and shells came and hit people's homes. The military posts are around the border, but they sent the strikes into civilian villages. The shells landed here and caused many casualties in Spin Boldak.
All the injured have been brought in and some women were killed. About 99% of the victims are civilians, including women and children. Some have been killed, while others are still lying wounded. Their treatment is being carried out by the Department of Public Health and other organizations. Ambulances have arrived.
Now, amid the tensions at the border, at least 5 people were killed and 35 others were wounded in explosions in Kabul, said an Italian NGO Emergency, which runs a hospital in the Afghan capital before the truce with Pakistan entered into effect.
Meanwhile, in Afghanistan's Ahmedabad district, hundreds of mourners gathered for the funeral of Afghan journalist Abdul Ghafoor Abid, who was killed by Pakistani forces while covering cross-border fighting for state-run television RTA. His death sparked calls for an investigation and punishment for the perpetrators under international law.
Well, over the weekend, the Taliban had launched an offensive along parts of its southern border with Pakistan, prompting Islamabad to vow a strong response of its own. Islamabad has accused Afghanistan of harboring militant groups led by the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan or TTP on its soil, which is, of course, a claim that Kabul denies. And to discuss more, we're now being joined by Marvin Wainworm. He's a director for Pakistan Studies at the Middle East Institute. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast.
My pleasure.
Right, so given how things are escalating between Afghanistan and Pakistan, do you think this ceasefire is going to hold?
Well, it's in the interest of both countries, the government in Kabul and Islamabad, that this not proceed any further in the escalation. Neither country really can afford it, but they have gotten locked into this kind of tit for tat, and it is dangerous because it threatens really in many ways to destabilize not only these two countries and their border, but other countries as well. And we have to recognize that even China and the United States and the Gulf countries all look at this development in Afghanistan with great concern because it can have a overflow into their areas, increasing perhaps tensions that from other groups, from other insurgent groups, such as the TTP in Central Asia. I could go on and particularly point to the fact that Chinese economic interests and now increasingly U.S. economic interests really hinge on there being stability between these two countries. So there's a great deal at stake here, and I think that there will be heavy pressure to keep the ceasefire going. Now, will it last? I think that the main issue here is going to be to what extent does the Kabul government want to put the clamps on the TTP, the Tehreek-e-Taliban, the Pakistani Taliban. If they really want to clamp down on them, I think that we could see a period of some peace between the two sides that we haven't seen in quite a while. But what we have to appreciate is that to do that also has dangers for Afghanistan. Should it really hold to the fire the TTP, this could create internal differences within Afghanistan, which could lead to divisions within the leadership, and could also bring into play here the Islamic State.
Understood. Understood.
So there's just a great deal at stake here.
Yeah, Mr. Weinbaum, also as far as you said, it's a tit for tat which is going on, these skirmishes that we're seeing, one only hopes that global players ensure that this 48-hour ceasefire, it holds. It is in the interest of both countries as well. But as of now, what are the chances of this becoming a full-blown war, going past the stage of these skirmishes? Because there was certain pressure on both countries to hold back, exercise restraint. That was ignored within a matter of a day. And now there's this 48-hour ceasefire with no confirmation of it holding.
Well, I don't believe that there would ever be a full-blown war between the two countries. Neither country can afford it. No, neither country can afford to have the kind of investment that they would have to make in that. So I don't believe that either really is thinking in those terms, but neither of them want it to be seen that somehow it gave way. There's a great deal of suspicion between the two countries, and it's been true for decades. So it has been exaggerated now by the fact that the TTP is both under the control of the Kabul government, but also has to some extent, some degree of freedom to undertake and brings the Kabul government, therefore, along in what is happening. Again, I repeat, I don't believe either country can afford a long conflict.
All right, Mr. Marvin Weinbaum, thanks so much for joining us here on World DNA and sharing all your insights. Of course, there's a 48-hour ceasefire. One hopes that it is going to hold, as both countries, as you mentioned, can't afford a long-drawn war.